Welcome to In the Kitchen with Dinah. Today, we're making chewy sourdough peanut butter cookies.
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Gonna taste good, I know.
The sourdough addition to these peanut butter cookies makes them magic. Now, the other day I had fed my sourdough at night and I was getting ready to bake bread the next day and I had like sourdough up to here. I didn't get to do it. So I ended up just sticking this back in the fridge and now I've got a lot of sourdough starter in here. Now it's discard. This is one of the most delicious things that I figured out what to do with some of the sourdough discard when you have an overage of it. You do, however, need to stick with Jif or Skippy peanut butter. I know the all-natural peanut butters are super healthy for you, which I really rather eat, but when you make peanut butter cookies, I don't know why, but you just really need to use Jif or Skippy. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's start off here. This recipe is all in grams, and I tried to convert it to cups and whatnot, and it just doesn't work. So we're gonna go with grams. So get your scale out. I have pre-measured everything. So I've got 95 grams of softened butter. So we'll get that in the pan. This is also a cookie you can make ahead because they have to sit in the fridge. So that is also another plus. Then we have 240 grams of white sugar and then 40 grams of brown sugar. And I just put it all in here since I was measuring that. Really not a whole lot. I think it's like a cup-ish of white sugar and a few tablespoons of brown sugar, if you're kind of wondering what the ballpark of that is. Then I'm gonna add 125 grams of peanut butter. Now you could use chunky if you want. You could also crunch up some peanuts if you want to add some nuts to this. All right, so let's get this cream together and then we're gonna add our sourdough starter. All right. All right, well, here's my thing. So we're gonna weigh out, we need 75 grams of sourdough discard or starter, whatever you have. I happen to have like 300 grams in here, so I need to use it on something. 75, let's see how close I can get here. I feel like the price is right. You want to get it close without going over. Well, there's 73. That's pretty close. Good enough. I'm a tiny bit over, but I'm not going to take a half a teaspoon out. Yum. All right, I'm going to tuck my sourdough starter back in the fridge. We're also going to add 1 large egg. Let's give this a good mix. The sourdough starter, or discard, really gets hooked into your beaters. So I kind of like to spread it out a little because it really climbs up your beaters. So you kind of do a little pre-mix before the mix. All right. All right, that looks good. Now we're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I'm just gonna gauge it by my heart because vanilla is delicious. It's probably closer to 2, but you know, it all works. Give this a little mix and then we'll get to our dry ingredients. Come on. Scrape down our sides here. Now in some cookies, like for instance chocolate chip, you can really taste the tang of the sourdough. The sourdough is a little overpowered by the peanut butter in these, but the texture is fantastic. It is everything you think a chewy cookie should be and more. All right, so I have 185 grams of all-purpose flour. And then we got baking soda, baking powder, and salt. So baking powder is a half a teaspoon. We're back to normal measurements just because it's the easiest way to measure those. And a half a teaspoon of soda. And 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm using Redmond's real salt. It tastes so delicious in your baked goods. I'm just gonna give this a quick mix up. Make sure you get all the dry bits off the bottom. And I'm gonna scrape my sides down here. This cookie recipe makes about 2 dozen. And you can, like I said, make them ahead of time because they're gonna sit in the fridge once we get them portioned. And then the sourdough can do its magic and they can ferment a little. So you could make them, freeze them, and keep them in the freezer until you wanna bake them and have hot, fresh peanut butter cookies. Or like me, I just bake them all off and keep them in the freezer. All right, so I'm gonna clean up my area. I'm gonna grab a cookie sheet and be right back. All right, so I just have a cookie sheet here lined with parchment, and I have my pan of sugar because traditionally peanut butter cookies are rolled, coated in granulated sugar, and then baked off with a crisscross with a fork. We'll do the crisscross with a fork right before we bake them, but right now we just wanna get them formed. And I just take my Pampered Chef cookie scoop here. I think it's like 1.5 tablespoons. And roll them. And I'm just gonna put them really close together on the cookie sheet. Like I said, they're gonna go in the fridge for a couple hours. The dough is gonna firm up. It is on the softer side. And then the sourdough can do its magic with the flour.
There's some hiding under your spatula.
Mm-hmm. That one might be the mega cookie.
Oh, the one for the cameraman.
The cameraman dozen. Is that what we call it?
The cameraman's 13th.
The crew cookie. Oh, it's super soft. All right, so we have our cookies all portioned. I'm gonna put a lid on these and I'm just gonna put them in the fridge for a couple of hours. They're gonna firm up. Like I said, the sourdough, the fermentation is gonna happen a little bit and then we'll bake them and I'll be back in a couple hours. So it's been a couple hours. Our peanut butter cookies have been in the fridge. The sourdough fermenting process has taken place. I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees and let these soften just a little because you don't want to put them in the oven rock hard because we want to be able to smush them and put the little crisscross peanut butter cookie insignia on them. I would like to know the history on that. I'll have to go look that up. All right, let's see how many I can put on here. I know I'm gonna need 2 sheets plus. Rearrange these just a tad. Yum, these smell so good. So now I'm just gonna take my fork, just put the peanut butter cookie mark on them. You don't wanna squish them too much, but just a little. All right, so in the oven they go. Now this all depends on how hot or cool your oven runs, but anywhere from 10 to 14 minutes-ish. And I will pull them out when they're just a little tiny bit golden brown on the edges. So let's pop them in the oven. I'm gonna set it for 11 and you can always add, but you can't take away. That's how you get burned cookies. All right, let's check them and see how they look. They're a little pale. And you can see how kind of raw the dough looks. So I'm gonna flip my cookie sheets around. Check on the bottom one because that one's always the hottest. You can see those are nice and brown. I might jerk those. Oh, that one's not done yet. Going back in. I'm gonna put it in for like 2 more minutes and keep an eye on them. All right, let's check them out. I know for sure that the bottom ones are done. Those are nice and brown.
I think they're all going to be good. They look.
I think they're perfect. All right. Hot. So these delicious sourdough peanut butter cookies are out of the oven. They've cooled just a tiny bit. I'm going to get them off the hot cookie sheets. Woo! And Denver smells peanut butter, which is one of his favorite things. So he's right next to me. I don't know, he was sleeping through the whole episode till now, till he smells some bacon. Yum. This is the hardest part of waiting for them to cool. But man, that sourdough gives it such a good chew. Okay, so I know you guys want to see how gooey and chewy they are, but they are really hot. So as soon as they cool, I will be back and we will bite into one and I will show you how amazing they are, okay? Our cookies have cooled just a little bit and I'm gonna show you how amazing they are. Goodbye, crumbly, sandy, yucky peanut butter cookie, and look at this. They are, I mean, they split open good, but. It's the perfect cookie. Crispy around the outside and super chewy on the inside. So if all you've known your whole life is a crumbly, dry, sandy almost texture of peanut butter cookies, you have got to try these. These will change your mind forever. And in my mind, this is what a peanut butter cookie should be. Nice and chewy and soft and just so good. So if you're a peanut butter cookie hater, come over to the good side where you're gonna know that these are so amazing and so delicious, because they are. The magic of sourdough. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me today. And if you're new, I say welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're watching today. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn that bell on for notifications because I've got lots of terrific recipes coming your way. So delicious. And I know I say that about everything, but I don't like any of that. Wow. And wow.
Holy moly, we got crab legs, sea galley. Okay, let's try all of that again. So how far back have you started?
Good question. Man, I'm so hot. Hey, that's the ice cream man. I know, you don't like him.
Teeniest little problem with the ice cream man. Oh my gosh.
Gonna taste good, I know.
You need a little tiny bite.
Okay, nibble, but he's got to come to this other side so I can see him.
Come over here. You sit. Okay, don't mess up.
Good
That's all you get.
Boy. Oh, he gave him a cookie.
The other thing is...
Oh my gosh, these cookies are so freaking good.
You need to say that.
Oh my goodness. How do you... Seriously,
it's the sourdough.
Chewy is the right word. They're so good.